Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to call our council meeting to order. Welcome to spring. I guess it's almost summer, the weather we're having. But I'm going to ask anyone that has a pecuniary interest, please divulge it now. Hearing none, we'll move on to reporting out of closed session. A resolution by Councillor Elliott, second by Councillor Dirksen, of the Council of Town of Minto, continue closed session following item 15. Item 15 on the agenda, notice motion. All in favor of that motion? It's carried, thank you. So, I have a motion by Councillor Potlovich, seconded by Councillor Zimmerman, that the minutes of the Town of Minto, February 20th, 24 and March 8th, 2024, closed session meeting and March 19th, 2024 regular council meeting be approved. All in favor of that motion? That's carried, thank you. A resolution moved by Councillor Gunson, seconded by Deputy Mayor Anderson, that the Council of Town of Minto convenes into Committee of Adjustment. All in favor of that motion? That's carried. Thank you. So, going to move right into our first public meeting. It's MV 2024-02. It's Gimlet, 415 Cavan Street in Palmerston. And I'm going to act as the chair of this meeting. I'm going to say any decision reached by this committee today cannot be used to set a precedent. Each application considered by the committee is dealt with on its own merits, and no two applications are exactly the same. This public meeting is to consider a minor variance application, MV 2024-02, Quinn Wilson and Trent Gimlet. I'm going to ask Secretary Treasurer McRobb to give us some information.
Thank you. The property subject to the proposed minor variance application is legally described as Lot 56 East Side Mill Lane Street and is municipally known as 415 Cavan Street in the Town of Minto. The subject property is approximately 810.025 meters squared or 8,712.0 feet squared. The purpose and effect of this minor variance application is to provide relief from Section 6.1.4A of the Town of Minto's Comprehensive Zoning Bylaw 0186 as amended. This relief aims to facilitate the construction of a detached garage and accessory structure with an increased lot coverage for accessory structures on the subject property. Section 6.1.4A permits a combined maximum lot coverage of 10% or 81.0 meters squared, 871.2 feet squared for all accessory buildings, whereas combined floor area of 12.3% or 98.85 meters squared or 1,064 feet squared is proposed. Additional relief may be considered at this meeting. The notices were mailed to the property owners within 200 feet or 60 meters of the subject property, as well as the applicable agencies on March 14th, 2024, and posted on the subject property on the same date. Council will note that they have reports from both the Town of Minto and Wellington County. I have no registered speakers to participate in this public meeting.
So I'm going to ask our town planner, Sama Hajai, to bring us up to date on some comments. And
Perfect.
Before we go any further, I would like all speakers to speak into the mic. And anyone that's going to the podium, I'd like you to state your name. And again, turn on the mic and speak into the mic, because we're on YouTube and we have quite a following. And that's the biggest report that we get, or issues that we get, is people can't hear. So if you don't mind speaking into the mic, certainly appreciate it. So go ahead.
Thank you. As Annalyn mentioned, the application before the Committee of Adjustment is for a property in Palmerston located at 415 Cavan Street and owned by Quinn Wilson and Trent Gimlet. The owners are wanting to construct a 64 square feet detached three-car garage. The zoning of the property is R2, which permits accessory structure up to 10% of the lot area, which in this case equates to 871.2 square feet. The owners request for an additional 192.8 square feet for an additional 2.3% in lot coverage. The existing house currently encroaches into the required front yard and exterior side yard, which leaves ample room for this detached garage in addition to normal residential activities. The application has been circulated to the normal agencies as well as property owners within 200 feet of the subject property, with no concerns being brought forward to the town. Town of Minto staff are met and discussed this application and have no concern with the proposal, but are wanting a condition added to the approval that a grading and drainage plan is prepared by an Ontario land surveyor or professional engineer and submitted to and approved by the town of Minto prior to the issuance of a building permit. The application successfully meets the 4 tests of the minor variance under the Planning Act. It is deemed minor in nature and aligns with the general intent and purpose of both the zoning bylaw and official plan. If the committee has any questions, I would be happy to answer.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll save our questions until later. Jessica, do you have anything to add? I know that you have a report here, but you're not on the agenda, but I'm going to give you the opportunity. So thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Turton. I don't have anything else to add other than we've only commented county-wide. The property is designated residential, which permits accessory dwellings, and we also had no concerns.
Okay, thank you very much. Next on the agenda is the owner applicant, Quinn and Trent. Is there anything that you folks would like to add? If so, step to the podium on the mic. Okay, so you're clear with everything. I'm going to open it up then to council. Questions from our committee? Oh, sorry, one other thing. I'm going to ask if there's anybody else in the room here today who wants to speak on this application. Okay. So I'm going to open it up for questions from the committee. Councillor Potnovitz.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Turton. I appreciate the fact that you're going to get a surveyor or engineer to do the lot grading or propose a lot grading plan for this. I had a phone call from a budding neighbor just before I got to the meeting, and they're quite concerned about the water off the eaves troughs and wondered if they could incorporate the downpipes to drain to the front of the property or front of the garage instead of the rear. If we can incorporate that into either the minor variance application or building permit, wherever it suits best.
So the rain leaders from the detached garage would, or the direction that they flow to, will be incorporated within the grading plan. If they're not directed to the front, or I guess that is Cabin Street side of the property, then there would have to be some sort of a catch basin or something like that in place to capture the water. Basically, the post-development flows can't exceed pre, so they do have to control the runoff in some method.
Other questions? This is relatively minor, 2.3, I think the number was, in the minor variance. So if there's no further questions, I'm going to ask Quinn or Trent, is there anything you want to speak of now, or are you happy with what you've heard? Okay, fine, thank you very much. I'm going to ask Secretary Treasurer to read the one that is approval one.
Certainly, thank you. Just to advise, upon a resolution being carried or defeated, the notice of decision of the Committee of Adjustment is to be signed by all members of the Committee of Adjustment in favor of the decision. The motion I will read is that the Town of Minto Committee of Adjustment approve the application by Quinn Wilson and Trent Gimblett for property legally described as Lot 56 East Side Mill Lane Street, municipally known as 415 Cavan Street, Palmerston, in the Town of Minto, to provide relief from section 6.1.4A, to permit for a maximum part lot coverage of all accessory structures on the property of 98.85 meters squared or 1,064 feet squared, with the condition of a grading and drainage plan is prepared by the Ontario land surveyor or engineer and is submitted to and approved by the town of Minto prior to the issuance of a building permit.
Okay, I need a mover and a seconder for that, please. Councillor Dirksen, Councillor Elliott. Is there any more questions? Hearing none, I'm going to call the question. All in favor of that motion? That's carried. Thank you very much. I'm going to state that anyone wishing to receive a copy of the notice of decision of the Committee of Adjustment in respect to the minor variance application must make a written request to the clerk of the town of Minto at 5941 Highway 89, Hairston, NOG 10, or by email at annaleen@town.minto.on.ca. So before I declare the public meeting closed, I want to make sure that we've got all our signatures.
Just if anyone in the audience is here for a public meeting, please make sure that you sign at the back for your public meeting. Thank you.
Okay. So I'm going to declare the public meeting adjourned. Thank you very much. And we're going to move into our second one. If you folks want to stay, you can. You're more than welcome. If you don't, then this is a perfect opportunity for you to exit, unless Annaleen wants to talk. No? Okay. All right. Thank you for coming. Good luck. The next public hearing is to MV 2024-03, Martin, 6119 Wellington Road, 109. I'm going to chair the public meeting, and I'm going to call it to order. Any decision reached by this committee today cannot be used to set a precedent. Each application considered by the committee is dealt with on its own merits, and no two applications are exactly the same. Public hearing is to consider a minor variance application, MV 2024-03, Randy Martin. I'm going to ask Secretary Treasurer McRobb to state the following.
Thank you. The property subject to the proposed minor variance application is legally described as Minto Concession D, part lots 89 and 90, and is municipally known as 6119 Wellington Road, 109 in the town of Minto. The subject property is approximately 70.45 hectares or 174.11 acres. The purpose of the minor variance application is to permit the expansion of the existing liquid manure tank and the expansion of the livestock facility within the existing barn. This application seeks relief from section 6.17.2 of the town of Minto's comprehensive zoning bylaw 0186 as amended. The notices were mailed to property owners within 200 feet or 60 meters of the subject property, as well as the applicable agencies on March 20th, 2024, and posted on the subject property of the same date. Comments and reports were provided to council from both the town of Minto and Wellington County. I have no registered speakers for this meeting.
Thank you. So I'll ask Terry Kuipers, our CBO, or Director of Building and Planning Services, to enlighten us on this.
Perfect. Thank you, Chair Turton. So the subject property, as mentioned, is located at 6119 Wellington Road 109, which is located at the southeasterly end of or side of Hairston. The property is roughly 174 acres in size and has two zones on it, an A-1 as well as a natural environment zone. The location of the buildings, as you can see up on the screen, are located within the A-1 zone area. The A-1 zone is typically a zone that's located on all agricultural properties approximately 1 kilometer around any of our urban centers. The A1 zone does prohibit new livestock and manure storage facilities, but does permit the expansion of existing facilities provided it complies with the MDS calculations. In this case, there's two calculations that need to be ran for both the proposed expanding herd as well as the liquid manure tank. One distance is measured to the adjacent house, which is also just outside the urban boundary, and the other calculations are ran to the urban boundary itself. The owner is proposing to expand the herd by an additional 12 milking cows, so 10 Holstein cows. As such, the owner also requires an expanded manure storage facility. So what's being proposed is a 2-foot height extension onto the existing tank. The livestock numbers or MDS calculations based on the existing livestock numbers do not comply with the MDS setbacks currently. And with the expansion, obviously still don't comply and just increase the deficiency slightly. Being the location of the farm is on the southeasterly side of Harriston, the prevailing winds blow from Harriston to this property. So any odor that's generated from this facility will be blown outside of the urban boundary, which is definitely a benefit. Staff reviewed the application and are determined that it does meet the 4 tests of a minor variance and do consider the proposed request minor in nature. So staff is supportive of the application, and we're here if there's any questions that you may have.
Okay, thank you very much. Jessica, is there anything you want to add?
Thank you, Mayor Turton. Again, we've just commented county on this one. It is designated prime agricultural and core greenlands. The proposed expansions are outside of those core greenland features on the property. And it is within the existing farm building cluster and provides operation efficiency. So county had no concerns as well.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'm going to open it to the owner applicant, Randy Martin. You want to spend any time at the mic? You're okay? All right. Is there anyone else here to speak in favor or against the application? Okay, hearing none, I'll open it up to the committee. Any questions or in reference to this application? Again, it's relatively minor. Terry? No questions? Then I'm going to ask Randy, have you changed your mind on speaking? Okay. Then I'm going to ask Secretary Treasurer McRobb to put forward the motion.
Thank you. Upon a resolution being carried or defeated, the notice of decision of the Committee of Adjustment is to be signed by all members of the Committee of Adjustment in favor of the decision. I will read the one as approved. That the Town of Minto Committee of Adjustment approves the application by Randy Martin for property legally described as Minto, Concession D, Part Lots 89 and 90, municipally known as 6119 Wellington Road 109, Harriston, in the Town of Minto to provide relief from Section 6.17.2 and permit a reduced minimum distance separation to distance of 171 meters or 560 feet from Harriston's urban boundary and 172 meters 565 feet from the nearest neighbor's dwelling for the LMT, and propose a reduced minimum distance separation to distance from the barn to 150 meters 492 feet from Harriston's urban boundary.
Can I have a mover and a second, please? Councillor Dirksen, Councillor Zimmerman. No other questions? Everybody understands the motion? Going to call the question. All in favor? Okay, thank you very much. That's passed. Anyone wishing to receive a copy of the notice of decision of the Committee of Adjustment in respect to the minor variance application must make a written request to the clerk, Town of Minto at 5941 Highway 89, Harriston, NOG 1Z0, or by email at annaline@town.minto.on.ca. I'm going to adjourn the public meeting. So good luck, Randy. Thank you for coming. So I have a resolution by Councillor Gunson, moved by Councillor Gunson, second by Councillor Zimmerman, that the Town of Minto Committee of Adjustment convene into the Committee of the Whole. All in favor of the motion? It's carried. Thank you. We're into a public meeting. ZBA 2024-002, Luke and Ruth Martin, 5982, 14th line, concession 15, part lot 22, part lot 23. Going to act as chair of the public meeting. We call the meeting to order, and everybody has signed in. I'm going to state the following. If a person or public body does not make an oral submission at a public meeting or make written submissions to the town of Minto before the bylaw is passed, person or public body is not entitled to appeal the decision of the town of Minto to the Ontario Land Tribunal, and the person or public body may not be added as a party to the hearing of the appeal before the tribunal unless, in the opinion of the board, there are reasonable grounds to do so. I'm going to ask Clerk Nick Robb to state the municipal address and the description of the property.
Thank you, Mayor Turton. The property subject to the proposed amendment is located at concession 15, part lot 22, part lot 23, and municipally known as 5982 14th line in the town of Minto. The subject property is approximately 2.15 hectares or 5.31 acres in size. The purpose and effect of the proposed amendment is to rezone a portion of the subject lands from agriculture A to agricultural commercial AC zone to facilitate the construction of a farm equipment repair shop with reduced setback to a residence on an adjacent lot. Additional relief may be considered at this meeting. The notices were mailed to property owners within 400 feet or 120 meters of the subject property, as well as the applicable agencies, and posted on the subject property on March 1st, 2024. Reports have been received from Wellington County, as well as the town of Minto.
Thank you, Annaline. I'm going to ask our county planner, Jessica Ron, to supply comments, please.
Thank you. So as mentioned, this application is to rezone only a portion of the subject land, so approximately 0.17 hectares or 0.42 acres from agricultural to an agricultural site-specific zone in order to facilitate the construction of a farm equipment repair shop, as well as a reduced setback to the adjacent neighbor across the street there. The subject lands are designated prime agricultural and core greenlands, and the zoning on the subject lands is agricultural and natural environment zone. So based on the mapping that we received from the conservation authorities, they have showed a bit of a difference from our NE zone regulated area. But within the town zoning bylaw, it allows for a reinterpretation of the NE zone on that property. So we have updated our mapping to reflect what the Conservation Authority has indicated where the regulated area is. And therefore, I've attached a draft bylaw that outlines the new AC zone on the subject lands while remaining outside the reinterpreted NE zone there. So the applicants are proposing to construct a farm equipment repair shop. Staff were recommending only a portion of the lands in order for it to maintain a small scale business on the property. We did do our review based on the agricultural related uses, so it is to be directly related to farm operations and required in close proximity to farms. So planning staff believe that this proposed use meets that intent, and we had no concerns with the application.
Okay, thank you, Jessica. Now I'll ask our Sama to give a report on behalf of the town.
Okay, I should mention that the application has been circulated to the normal agencies as well as property owners within 400 feet of the subject property, with no concern being brought forward to the town. And the town of Minto staff have discussed this application and have no concern with this proposal.
Okay, thank you. Luke, you want to add anything? Perfect opportunity to go to the mic. Don't like to scare you off, but yeah, okay, thank you. Not sure if you've ever been into this council chambers before, and
Just need someone to turn the mic on.
You can hear me there?
welcome.
All I simply want to say is thank you for your consideration, all the hard work you have done on our behalf. We're looking forward to helping serve the community and the farm equipment region.
Thank you very much. You might want to just stay there, Luke, because there might be questions. Anybody want to speak in favor or against the application? Hearing none, I'm going to give council an opportunity to ask questions. Councillor Potnovitz?
Yes, through you, Mayor Turton. Just a question for Terry. Is this exempt from site plan approval?
Yes, our site plan approval bylaw only applies to within urban centers. So it's, yeah, not subject to it.
Other questions? Nothing else from you, Luke? You're good? You understand the process? Okay. Okay, perfect. Then if there's no other questions, I'm going to ask, Annalene?
Point in time, it's just to,
Just me, okay.
Yep.
All right, so, all right, then the recommendation is that the Council of the Town of Minto receives report plan 2024.
sorry, through you, Mayor Turton. I believe that at this point, it is just you stating that if anyone wishes to be notified of the decision of the Council of the Town of Minto.
All right,
With my apologies.
then I'm going to say that. Anybody that wants to be notified of the decision of the Council of the Town of Minto, then you will, I'll just read this. If you wish to be notified of the decision of the Council of the Town of Minto in respect to the proposed zoning bylaw amendment application, you must make a written request to the clerk of the Town of Minto at 5941 Highway 89, Harrison, Ontario, NOG 10, or by email at annaline@town.minto.on.ca. That wasn't your fault, Annalene. I take full responsibility. It's right here in front of me. All I had to do was read it. So I'm going to call the question. All in favor? Sorry, that is no.
There's no question, yeah.
All
So
right,
just if there's
so-
no further comments.
So I'll adjourn the meeting. I'm a little confused here. I apologize. But I think you got what you came for. So, all right, we're going to move along to the next meeting. ZBA, going to call this public meeting to order. This is ZBA 2024-004, Paul Martin, 69 Allen Street West, Concession D, Part Lot 18, Park Lot 19, Park Lot 20, Park Lot 21, Park Lot 17, and Park Lot 22. If a person, thank you very much for coming, guys. Good luck. If a person or public body does not make oral submissions at a public meeting or make written submissions to the Town of Minto before the bylaw is passed, the person or public body is not entitled to appeal the decision of the Town of Minto to the Ontario Land Tribunal, and the person or public body may not be added as a party to the hearing of the appeal before the tribunal unless, in the opinion of the board, there are reasonable grounds to do so. Clerk McRobb, could you please state the municipal address and the legal description of the property?
Thank you. The property subject to the proposed amendment is located at Concession D, Park Lot 18, Park Lot 19, Park Lot 20, Park Lot 21, Park Lot 17, Park Lot 22. I hate saying all that all over again. And municipally known as 69 Allen Street West in the Town of Minto. The subject property is approximately 12.26 hectares or 30.29 acres in size. The purpose and effect of the proposed amendment is to rezone a portion of the subject lands from future development to residential R2, zone to facilitate the construction of 2 semi-detached residential dwellings and a 3-unit street townhouse development. This rezoning is a condition of severance application B44/23 and B48/23, which have been granted provisional consent by the Wellington County Land Division Committee, and additional relief may be considered at this meeting. The notices were mailed to property owners within 400 feet or 120 meters of the subject property, as well as the applicable agencies, and posted on the subject property on March 6, 2024. Reports have been received from Wellington County as well as the town of Minto.
Okay, so I'm going to ask Jessica Raham, our county planner, to provide comments regarding the proposed amendment.
Thank you, Mayor Turton. So as mentioned, this application is to rezone a portion of the subject lands from future development to medium-density residential R2 zone in order to permit the construction of 2 semi-detached dwellings and a 3-unit street townhouse dwelling on the severed parcels. The portion that's being rezoned is the lands located within the urban boundary. So that section of the property does have a residential designation on it. So therefore, it makes sense for the future development zoning to go to an R2 zone in order to permit the construction of these new residential units. The applicants are also proposing to keep the existing dwelling, single detached dwelling on the property that would remain. And the other portions would, through the consent applications, would be severed off and able to construct those residential dwellings. I've provided a draft bylaw for council's review, but it's just going to a straight R2 zone as what they've proposed meets all the setbacks in the R2 zoning as well. And that's all I have for today.
Okay, thank you. I'll ask Terry Kuipers, our CBO, to provide his comments.
Perfect. Thank you, Mayor Turton. Council may recall dealing with this property quite a few years ago when we were looking at modifying the urban boundaries of all of our 3 urban centers. During that review, the agricultural portion of this property was removed out of the urban boundary. However, the lands that are being rezoned under this application were kept in. So they're the portion that fronts on Allen. The whole intent with leaving them in back at that time was the owner did want residential development potential with those lands fronting Allen Street, which is what we're dealing with today. Council may also recall that the owner has entered into a site servicing agreement with the town as well as a pre-consultation agreement. The site servicing agreement requires the existing single-family dwelling to be connected to the municipal sanitary system once the main has been extended across the front of it, as well as the existing well and septic system to be decommissioned at that time. Through the pre-consultation agreement, the owner is responsible for paying for both the design of the sanitary main in front of these lands, as well as the construction of that main and restoration of the road. So that will be done solely at the owner's expense. The town is unaware of any development potential across the road, which is something that we did look at and discuss. So at this point, the focus for the main extension is solely to service these existing 4 parcels in total. I believe that is all I needed to add in addition to Jessica's comments.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm going to give Mr. Paul Martin an opportunity to head to the mic. If there's questions or anything you need? No? Okay. All right, so any persons wishing to speak to the application, please step forward. All right. I'm going to give council an opportunity to ask questions. Hearing none. Any rebuttal or response? No? Okay. Okay, so I'm going to state the following then. If you wish to be notified of the decision of the council of the town of Minto in respect to the proposed zoning bylaw amendment application, you must make a written request to the clerk of the town of Minto at 5941 89 Hairston, NOG 1Z0, or by email at annaline@town.minto.on.ca. Any further comments? Okay, I'm going to adjourn the public meeting. So, thank you very much. We have no delegations here today, and if you 2 gentlemen want to stay around and listen to the excitement, that's fine. If not, thanks for coming and right, thanks a lot. So we have public question period. Perfect opportunity. Yeah, we scared them off. Correspondence, the recommendation moved by Deputy Mayor Anderson, seconded by Councilor Elliott, that the council receives the correspondence as for information. We have 3 items on correspondence today: the Crime Stoppers Guelph Wellington newsletter. We have a letter from Harrison Historical Society and a residential development monitoring report, which is extremely interesting for those who took the time to read it. Is there anything that you need to discuss? Councillor Elliott.
Wonder if we should discuss the Harrison.
So you want to discuss it, or you want to have a report?
I'm wondering what council's thought on meeting the request for $1,000.
Treasurer, do you want to talk about this, Treasurer Duff, please?
Mayor Turkey, this report was addressed. Now, cultural ground. Also, did that. You have discussed.
Go ahead, Councillor Elliott.
So we could give them $500 to get them over the hump, and then maybe next year in the budget, a lot, the other $500, or would it be better to try and find that $1,000 somehow? Okay. You're right.
Redstone Hunt.
Can we afford to do the full amount? If we better make it, all of a sudden we can make a motion to give you the $1,300. Are you gonna find a way of putting that out? Where would you put that? Where would you find that? Yeah, I'm just, they're a volunteer group that in super for economic development and everything else we got for Harrison and Minto. I'd be disappointed if this is not going to be allowed. I certainly would be in favor of you giving the $500. And if they wanted to request more, then they could put in a second request maybe, and then find out where they're from. That'd be part of that.
So can mind if we ask Councillor Dirksen to speak, and then
Sure.
we'll go back to your possible request? Go ahead. Councillor.
Thank you, Mayor Turton. So I'm just, the history of Hairston, I think what they're wishing to do, though, is to do that in the 10th year, or in the 25th anniversary of Minto year, which is now. So waiting until next year isn't going to be as helpful as getting it done now. I'm wondering, like, they're only going to do 100 books, and they're saying the quote is 2,200. I'm assuming that anyone who wants these books is going to need to buy them. So are they maybe looking for a loan instead? Like, is there any possibility of maybe doing a loan instead of the full amount? Because after $500, it gets more difficult, which I understand. Because I think $100 would go pretty quickly, in my mind. I don't know. And then the headstone hunt, we have supported that in the past, have we? So you said the Cultural Roundtable has already figured out what they're doing with their $10,000 budget. Did that include anything for the headstone hunt? But it did in the past. Okay. Okay. Because it is a pretty, it's a pretty popular event, the headstone hunt is, and it brings a lot of people, like the list of where the people come from and so on is actually pretty astounding when it comes right down to it. So I don't know, like, I'm just wondering, maybe there's, would there be some businesses that would donate to it or some private money to donate to it? I don't know. Anyways, I'm just wondering for the book for sure, if that, maybe they would be able to take that as a loan. And if they bumped up the price slightly on those 100 books, they would probably be able to cover that $1,000 if they're looking for. Is just my thought.
Other thoughts, Councillor? Sorry. I'm going to go this way
Oh,
first,
yeah, go
Councillor
ahead.
Elliott. Go ahead. Deputy Mayor Anderson.
Similar to Councillor Dirksen, thank you, Mayor Turton. I'm thinking surely they paid for the books in the past. They didn't just hand them out. It must have been a fee. So I think they're going to recoup the money. Is there any talk of what they want to do with the recouping if they're not? So they just put that towards some of their other costs. And similarly, the headstone hunt, is there an entry fee?
There is no entry fee for the headstone hunt. No.
But maybe there could be. Right, $5, $10.
Well, $5 or $10, you got $300. I think from the numbers, as I understand. But I think it sounds like we need to have more information before we know the
Okay,
answers to
so-
these questions. Maybe.
Councillor Gunson.
Is this something they can put their name in to be a recipient from the mayor's charity golf tournament?
Possibly next year.
It's already for this year?
It's full.
Fair enough.
But it's a good thought. What's your preference here? What do we want to do? Do we want to have a staff report and get more information? Is that
I think so. I
okay?
think so.
Are you going to put that in a motion, Mr. Elliott?
Sure I can.
All right. Can we have a seconder? Thank you. Deputy Mayor Anderson. So all in favor of that motion? That's carried. Thank you. I was being very serious on that number C there, the County of Wellington Residential Development Monitoring Report. It's very, there's a lot of information, and I suggest that you take a moment and read that. All right, so the recommendation, all in favor of the recommendation? That's carried. Thank you very much. Okay, I'm going to pass this to Councillor Elliott for the Community Services Advisory Committee minutes of February 26, 2024.
If I just can, I believe actually the minutes should say March 18th, 2024. So if we can just make that change also to the recommendation.
And I'll pass that over to our rec man, Matt.
All right, thank you, Council Elliott. So we had a full house for our meeting on the 18th at the Harrison Arena, which was nice to see. We talked about the Norgan and the successful year that it was in 2023. We had a matinee sellout over March break, and we look forward to the Lions hosting the Sandpipers live next Thursday, April 11th. We're into a change of seasons in parks and facilities as the ice comes out of the arena and curling clubs. We look forward to a busy summer of both indoor and outdoor rentals and special events throughout the town. We remain busy facilitating programs and getting ready for summer day camp and swim lessons. Registration just opened today with a very high level of enrollment in just the first few hours. The Kids Ball Hockey League starts this Thursday, and we've got 40 teams registered across 4 age groups. So we are going to have our hands full with that. We talked about the Hairston Fairgrounds plan, which you approved in principle last month, as well as the recreation master plan process, which is set to begin this month. With regard to recognition night possibilities, there are some local individuals and local teams we could invite to council. I might be stealing some of Ron's thunder, but this includes the Minto 81s, who won the inaugural OEHL Cup over the weekend by sweeping the Tavistock Royals in 4 straight games. And I just want to finish up with, they had a solid lineup, and it was great to see them go the distance.
Hey, that's it. I'm gonna brag about the 81s. Of course, my grandson plays for them, so why wouldn't I? This is kind of it developed to a new league, and it's the opening of, it's the Ontario Elite Hockey League. And I kind of did some research. I saw the cup they got a huge cup, almost like the size of the Stanley Cup that they were given. And back in the years, this cup was started in 1938. Different teams have gone through. Whitby, there's all kinds of teams. And it was quite an elite league that they're in. I would suggest that the league that they're playing in right now is probably the second best amateur men's hockey that there is. It's amazing hockey to watch. For them to sweep a team 4 straight with the abilities of all these other teams, and there's 11 teams, and 8 of them could compete for that cup. And we should be very proud of what they did in Minto. I don't think they're done. Sounds like everybody's going to come back next year. And if they do come back next year, the winner of that, if it happens to be the 81s again, will play for the Allen Cup, which is the best amateur men's hockey in Canada. So right now, we're probably the best amateur hockey team in Ontario, which is something to brag about for our community. And I don't think a lot of people realize that. Must have been because we filled the rink for 2 of the games, and it was huge. People surrounding the glass and everything. So very proud of them, and thanks, Matt. I'll read the motion if you have nothing else. That the council receive the Community Service Advisory Committee minutes of February 26th.
Sorry, may I? March 18th, 2024. This is the change to that motion.
Yes, and whatever she says. March 28th, 2024, and we'll change that. As information and approves any recommendations contained within.
And the mover is Councillor Gunson and seconded by Councillor Dirksen.
And have we got any comments? Yes.
Yeah, I just have a question. ICE utilization for 2023, 24. Do we still keep those stats, Matt? I'm sure we do. Comparing over the years, where 4 years ago we had 3 arenas running, 3 ice and 3 arenas. Now, 3 years ago we're down to 2.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean the utilization goes up on the 2 that we have now, or how's all that fit in?
Through Councillor
Thank you,
Elliott,
Mr.
the
Chair.
utilization fluctuates a little bit. And COVID threw a big wrench into that. And then the proof of vaccination upon reopening kind of impacted the numbers as well. What I can say, the last 2 seasons that we've had without restrictions, utilization's lower than pre-COVID. And that's something we can accommodate with 2 sheets as opposed to 3. But we do have those figures, ice utilization by ice season.
It's a weekly, I'm sure that's weekly, right?
We typically track it by hours per week. Yeah.
Just kind of interested in that. It's as we get into the new norm.
Yeah, and what's interesting is that just with ice, there's only a certain number of users out there. There's definitely been an uptick in interest in sort of non-alternative or non-traditional programming. for the Clifford Arena, we've had some busy nights with pickleball, roller skating, the family drop-in. I mean, it's not as if the building's closed and the doors are locked. So it's nice to see that there is interest in alternative programming when the demand for ice isn't there.
I agree. Not all of us play hockey.
Yeah, certainly not everyone plays hockey, and yeah, it's great to have a pad like the one that we do that is utilized and enjoyed by our residents.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? All in favor of that motion? Carried. Now, pass the chair back to our mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Elliott. So we have some staff reports. We have Fenora Custom Homes, Inc., Plan 2024-018, Part Lot Control PLC 2024-02. I'm going to ask Sama to present the report,
Nope.
please. Oh, Terry, you're going to report it. Okay.
Yep, I will take this one. Thank you,
Thank
Mayor
you very
Turton.
much.
The proposed part lot control application deals with multiple blocks and lots within the MEX or Minto Meadows subdivision in Harriston. I'm not going to read out the legal description or the civic addresses. I'll let the mayor do that when he reads my recommendation. Multiple applications on this development have come forward to council in the past, including a pre-servicing agreement, subdivision agreement, subdivision application, as well as a rezoning application. The development style within the subdivision has not changed since you have reviewed them. The purpose of this application is to split all the multi-res parcels into individual ownership. A few of the lots and blocks have been developed to date. Fenora Homes have built these houses to demonstrate, or built these different unit types to demonstrate what their building will look like for when they came up on the market. The purpose of this application is to split both the constructed dwelling units as well as the multi-res future ones, which haven't been constructed yet. So with this application, staff is suggesting that the bylaw be worded with a 3-year extension or a 3-year time limitation to allow for the undeveloped lots to be constructed and then registered. What happens if the time frame, if they don't meet this time frame, basically they can't legally split those dwelling units. So if it's a semi, they're not 2 individual ownerships. So they would have to come back to reapply. Council may recall that this actually occurred in the Right Haven subdivision, where the registration was or occurred after the expiration of the bylaw. So then they had to come forward to redo it. Council has approved part lot control applications in the past for vacant parcels. So we did do this in Milton Siler. We also did this within the Right Haven subdivision as well. So this is not uncommon. They can't be legally split until the dwelling units are constructed to ensure that the party walls are right on the property line. So that is something that staff will do. Upon council's endorsement of this report, there will be a bylaw later in this council meeting for council's consideration. And if there's any questions, I'd be more than happy to take them.
A recommendation by Councillor Elliott, second by Councillor Zimmerman, that the Council of the Town of Minto receives report Plan 2024-017 regarding PLC 2024-02, Fenora Custom Homes, Inc., for lands being planned 61M250, blocks 48 and 52, and lots 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, and 45, with municipal address of 30, 40 Ann Street West, 1 to 17 Ann Street West, and 116 and 118 Thackeray Way, 112, 114 Thackeray Way, 108, 110 Thackeray Way, 104 to 106 Thackeray Way, 100 to 102 Thackeray Way, 119 to 121 Thackeray Way, and 156 to 158 Bean Street, respectively, according to reference plan 61R 22699 Town of Minto, County of Wellington, for the information and consider passing a bylaw in open session. Questions for Terry? I can see why you didn't read that, Terry. So when we talk about some of our other subdivisions around Town of Minto, Milton, Siler, Right Haven, all these, the way we're doing the Finoro Custom Home division is similar, and it's all worked out, no issues.
Absolutely. It is the same as what we've done with the rest, and yeah, upon their registration, yeah, there's been no issues with the validity of the deeds of those parcels.
Great. No questions? All in favor of the motion? That's carried. Thank you very much. I'm going to pass the chair to Councillor Gunson.
Thank you,
Take
Mayor
over, sir.
Turton. So tonight we've got 3 reports. First one is for culvert replacements, tender results, and Mike McIsaac's going to submit that report. Okay, I'll read the recommendation. Moved by Councillor Dirksen, second by Deputy Mayor Anderson. Council of the Town of Minto receives report PW 2024-009 regarding tender results, culvert replacements, and that Council of the Town of Minto awards tender PW 2024-04 culvert replacements to Gerald Darcy Construction Limited for a total tender price of $73,755, excluding HST. Any questions from you?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a quick question. It's nice to see lots of bidding, a lot of local bidding going on there. Timelines on this, Mike? Is this, so there's no immediate danger, health and safety to any of our people driving up that road, so, and we'll, so the weather's been very friendly this year. So we're doing 2, the road won't be closed, you can. Good, thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor? Thank you. Thanks, Mike. Second one, inflow and infiltration report for Harrison and Palmerston. Mark Robertson, you're up. Perfect, thanks, Mark. I'll read the recommendation, moved by Councillor Podnowitz, second by Councillor Elliott. Council of the Town of Minto receives report PW 2024-010 regarding the inflow and infiltration report that for Harrison and Palmerston wastewater collection systems for information. Any questions for Mark?
Quick question, Mark, where would we be if we didn't start this INI 20 years ago? So it's been money well spent. So it's really interesting to hear you say about the smart covering. I mean, back 20 years ago or so, whatever it was, we spent a lot of money on the INI and not a lot on the repairs. Now we spend less on the INI and more on the repairs. I mean, and that's only because of you and your staff coming up with new ideas, new technology. So thanks for doing that. Good luck.
Any other questions? Sounds like these smart covers, even I could figure that out. Oh, perfect. Third report, Harrison Fairgrounds servicing, oh, I gotta go back here, just hang on. If there's no other questions, all in favor? Thank you. Got ahead of myself. Third report, Mark's gonna report that too, Harrison Fairgrounds servicing plan. Thanks, Mark. I'll read the recommendation. Moved by Councillor Zimmerman, second by Mayor Turton. Council of the Town of Minto receives report PW 2024-011 regarding the Harrison Fairgrounds Servicing Plan. The Council of the Town of Minto agrees with the RV waste disposal site decommissioning to comply with MECP regulations. Any questions from Mark?
Yeah, thank you, Chair, Mr. Chair. And I know that this has been a controversial issue for a number of years, and I know for a fact that we will take some heat over this, but it's something that, I mean, when you read the report, recent changes from the Ministry of the Environment, Conservation and Parks, we don't make the rules. We've looked into alternatives. Nobody's going to get to be able to dump their tanks for for $20, maybe $20 a time, but that's something that, Mark, like you said, you've Googled it. There's other opportunities, to have one in Minto for all this time has been good. Now we're looking at, changing the park. We're upgrading the park. We're gonna, with some time, hopefully this will go away, to upgrade and build another dump station somewhere else. I mean, we're talking quite a bit of money. And I mean, not everybody has a trailer, but people are going to have to, and I've already taken some phone calls. People are going to have to look at alternatives. It's change, and it's something that we have no choice but go ahead and do. So I think, and I'm not sure if I said this before, June 1st isn't far away. We likely should put up a sign down there to say that this dump station will be closed June 1st. Just to, somebody pulls in there on June 2nd and all of a sudden they, if it was me, I might pull my plug and let it, because nobody told me. So I think that's something we maybe should look at, Mark. But other than that, thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Anderson?
So what are the chances of people just dumping anyway, and what do we have in place to prevent that? On sewage floating around on. I don't know where the dumping station is. I don't have a trailer. Or it looks like how accessible that area is, but and that must have come to our minds. What are we going to do about the people who are not going to pay for the fact that it's not open? Well, in an ideal world, yes, but I'm suspecting that probably that won't be the case. Some people will think, well, I'm just going to dump it here, and what kind of a risk is that? Not to think the worst of it, but oh. Yeah.
It does, we deal with it.
So a camera might not be a bad idea.
We'll monitor and see.
Councillor Dirksen?
Yeah, it's too bad that we can't provide the service anymore, but it's pretty clear that we're being told by people. So it's rather out of our hands, and the responsible thing for us to do is to close it, obviously. But I'm thinking that as like June 1st, well, signage, great idea, and I mean, you can get a trail camera pretty cheap. But I would suggest just putting up a gate. Just in front, so that it's very clear that this is closed. Like, I don't. And you're right, people will dump it where there was no dumping stations, so, which is pretty disgusting, but, yeah, we have to do what we can to let people know that it's not going to be there anymore.
I think part of the decommission is to stop the filtration. As we're taking it forward, unless the office wants to add or whatever starts happening, our administrative as the plan of city just
Sure, but I'm thinking May 31st, you're not gonna work till June 1st to get it out there, so that's what I'm thinking, June 1st. It's gotta look different than it did May for garbage.
Councillor Ponder?
Yeah.
Okay. We're sending them $20 back to the people that have the keys, right? Are we doing that right now? Like, is there a letter that goes with that to say, hey, like, is that gonna be done before June 1st? Do we know? Yes. Maybe if they had to bring their key back. Oh, sorry.
Thank you, Chair Gunson, for the question. In addition to the on-site signage that we're planning to put up at the Harriston dump station regarding the decommissioning, there will be a letter sent to each key holder that we have on file advising of the decommissioning. With that letter will be a $20 check that is applicable to their key deposit. If they wish to return the key to the town, great. If they don't, that's okay too.
Perfect. You don't have to send me a letter. I know what's going on.
Save the stamp.
Any other questions? See none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor? It's passed, thank you. I'm gonna pass the chair back to Mayor Turk.
Thank you, Councillor Gunson. We're down to announcements. Councillor Elliott, do you want to start the announcements, please?
Yeah, I got a couple. A musical group called the Sandpipers are going to be at the Norgan Theater April 11th, and they're being brought in by the Lions Club of Palmerston. Fabulous group. If you know anybody that wants to go, anyway, a lot of classic rock, blues, and modern country. Really, really good group. Probably one of the best groups you've had in the area. This is sort of a highlight for Party in the Park. We're going to be playing at Party in the Park this year. There's going to be a highlight group for that too. So if you want to go, or if you just contact any line or contact me, and we'd be glad to have people go. Last year was almost a sellout. We hope we can sell out this year. And rave reviews, standing ovations. So be assured you're going to get entertained really well. Go to that. I have another one, and it's just maybe going to take a little longer than I wanted, but in Palmerston today, this is just before I came to council, I took pictures, and this has been an ongoing issue, and I've had complaints about it. There's garbage being taken. I don't know whether I can kind of walk around quickly. Garbage on the sidewalk. That's across from the tank.
That's plastic bags of garbage, right, Councillor Elliott?
Yes.
Start.
Volume County, thanks.
That's okay.
And so what they do is take them out on Wednesday after regular, every 2 weeks, the garbage is being picked up. I'll go back here now. Every 2 weeks, the garbage being picked out. The Wednesday of not when the garbage is being picked up, or Wednesday just after, out comes this garbage and goes on the sidewalk. So now you got to wait 2 weeks before it's picked up. They don't bring it back in because they missed, we all do that, take it out the wrong day, but whoops, we better bring it back in and do it again. That doesn't happen. Those bags will be sitting on the sidewalk until the garbage pickup next Tuesday. So it's not good. Rodents, all kinds of stuff, smell. It's on the sidewalk. Now, one of the neighbors who did discuss it with it talked to the landlord about it as the landlord walked over the garbage bags to do whatever he was doing, and said, no, well, it isn't our people upstairs. There's apartments all along up above there. It isn't our people doing it. It's all along. It's not me that's doing it. And no one seems to do anything about it. I know it's not garbage pickup isn't the town of Minto's job, but it's also town of Minto's job to keep our town clean and healthy. And I don't know what the answer is. I'm hoping that Mayor Turton will take it back to the county and ask the landfill people what they will do for it if those are sitting out there, their garbage bags, wrong date.
Yeah, so Counselor, I mean, this is something that, you're right, it is a county thing, and I'm sure, as I sit here, not the first time it's happened in this county.
This has happened more than
Yeah.
once, and this,
So-
I'm getting frustrated because I don't know what could happen. I'm sure the county won't come back up yet tomorrow and pick up the garbage bags. Sorry, Mayor.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'm gonna ask Potter here to fill us in on what he's gonna do for it.
Thank you very much, Mayor Turton. Through you to Councillor Elliott, I did have the opportunity to speak with Terry Kuipers with regards to this situation, and I think we do have a few things that the town of Minto can do to hopefully alleviate this from happening again.
So just to add on to that, we have received historically the odd complaint. This one we haven't received a complaint on. What we've done in the past is we do monitor what is going on when they're putting them out there. We also typically do a campaign to all of those property owners. Like you mentioned, there's tons of apartments that are back there, and trying to identify who exactly is putting the garbage out there is next to impossible. We don't know who the tenants are. If it continues, what we've done in the past is bill all of those landlords for the cost to remove it. So essentially, it's the landlords need to speak with their tenants. One of the things I did speak with CAO Potter that we would do is also send out the pamphlet that the Solid Waste Services sends out with respect to the proper garbage day, just so that the landlords can pass that on to their tenants. Hopefully it's just a case of, I forgot what day it is, but then at least they've got, the magnet that they can slap up on their fridge just to remind the tenants of that. So I will follow up with our bylaw enforcement officer, get him to monitor the situation and go from there.
In the meantime, can our staff at least pick it up, throw it in the back of the pickup and take it out to the dump?
Historically, we have asked Public Works to do that.
While we're waiting around for the political thing to end, or it's gonna still sit there, and that's all.
The difficult part is as soon as we start doing it once, then it keeps going. If we pick it up every Wednesday when they put it out, now suddenly the magical garbage day is every Wednesday because the garbage bags disappear. Not that that's the proper solution. I know for like a stopgap for the moment. Mike, if you guys have time, if you could swing by. But like I said, we'll monitor it and follow up with the landlords and do an education campaign. Worst case scenario, it keeps going, then we'll bill all of those property owners. We've done that.
Can we ask them to have a bin put in there or that they can take?
No, that actually makes the problem worse because here the owners, as they did in that case, did purchase the garbage bags. So they have spent the money on it. If you put a dumpster out back there, we've had construction dumpsters in that parking area. Everyone throws everything in there and it actually gets a lot worse. So we'll do what we can on our end.
All right, that's great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So just, the other thing that's on that brochure, it educates people on the blue box. Because looking at that picture, Ron, there's 7 bags there, no blue boxes. So those folks are not sorting. And that's something that's really going to change over the next year or so because the producers are going to be looking after all the blue boxes and stuff. So, I mean, all these things, education is, and like you said, they can go on to the Wellington website and find out where they get the blue boxes. I think we have them.
Yep.
And the green boxes, which is organic waste, and pick them up out at, and I think that's part of that is landlord's responsibility to explain that to their tenants.
And I believe also in that pamphlet, there is a link to the Wellington County's recycling or garbage app. I've got it on my phone, so it's really easy. I get reminders the day before of when garbage day is, so anything we can do to help, we will.
It's funny you say that. Our yellow bag was the only one on our street this morning. So I had to carry it out and back in.
And carry it back in.
I was
I'm
going to
okay
drive
with
by
that.
your place on my way home. Just
Anything else, Councillor Elliott?
No, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you bringing that up. Councillor Potnovitz?
Yes, one, and maybe just a follow-up to Councilor Elliott's comments on the sandpipers. It's on Thursday, April 11th. It's at the Northern Theater, $20 a ticket. It's a license for that. I have 2 tickets available for anybody that wants to.
And you can get more.
And you can get more. The second thing I want to bring up, on June the 8th, there's a walk for dog walks taking place in Palmerston. But you can just Google the website, walk for dog guides, and just click on Palmerston. It should give you all the information in regards to the event. You can actually get a sponsorship sheet and get listeners to donate towards it. Or you can just like make note of that date, and hopefully we have a good event that day.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Potnovitz. Councillor Gunson?
2 quick things. Just congratulations to the Minto 81s. Ron's already talked about that enough. So, and then Minto U18s, the Mad Dogs, they were at the All Ontario year-end tournament this past weekend. Good for being there. They lost in the semifinals in overtime, tough loss, but we congratulate them for getting that far. So, yeah.
Councillor Dirksen?
I have nothing tonight, thank you.
I'm just thinking, first Saturday in June is the Harrison Station firefighters breakfast at the community center. Always well attended, and I'll leave it to Jean. I imagine the Horticultural Society might have something happening that day as well.
They do indeed. So it's also the weekend of the Garden Festival. I think it's our 21st annual this year. It's about 23 vendors coming, so it should be an exciting day for people to come out and get fed and do some plant shopping.
Thank you. I've got a couple as well. I was talking to our Public Works Director earlier today, and we are going to start street sweeping in our 3 municipalities sometime over the next 3 weeks. So I'm just going to ask our people out there, when you see the street sweeper, or possibly park your car in your driveway, get it off the street so there's not a dusty area in the front of your driveway or in front of your house that doesn't get cleaned up. So if you can keep your vehicle off the street, if you don't mind. I think we have a bylaw anyways, or is that, are we past that? We're past that, okay. Anyways, that's going to happen. The volunteer dinner is April the 18th. I understand we've got, and that's in Hairston. I understand we have a couple hundred signed up. Quinn, Annaline? Is it too late, or what is the sign-up date? Oh, it was. It's too late. Okay, perfect. That's good. That's terrific. Third thing is the mayor's breakfast, which is this Friday, and I know that Caitlin, Aaron, and Belinda have a really good a whole list of items that we're going to talk about, and so it'd be interesting for anybody that has the morning. We're going to try and start. We're going to start early because we have a lot to go through. Breakfast starts at 7:30. So I don't know for sure. Anybody know? It is? Okay. Sorry, go ahead, Councillor Elliott.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
There's a volunteer dinner in Palmerston.
Volunteer dinner. It's in Palmerston, okay? I stand corrected. It's in Palmerston? Well, thank you for listening. That tells me you're listening,
First
Ron.
time I've listened to you in my life.
Okay, so I have a resolution by Councillor Zimmerman, seconded by Deputy Mayor Anderson, that the committee of the whole convenes into regular council. All in favor of that motion? That's carried. Thank you. Any notices of motion? Hearing none. Okay, so I have a resolution moved by Councillor Zimmerman, seconded by Councillor Elliott, that the Council of Town of Minto conduct a meeting close to the public. Consider the following: personal matters about identifiable individual, including employees, and personal matter about an identifiable individual, including employees. All in favor of the motion? Okay,